A little bit of context is required. So, two of my friends had just moved essentially the entire way across the US to live with two other mutual friends of ours because we were trying to restart our lives and, live good because, men in their mid 20s and stuff. Like if you've been through that, you understand. But so I'm in a brand new environment. I am discovering myself. Oh my goodness, I sound like a white girl so much. But anyway, like I'm discovering myself. I'm meeting new people. And like I meet someone whom I think is like really, really wonderful. Like she checks all the boxes for me. And then we end up dating for like 6 months, like something insane, like to the point where like I mentally don't think of her as not my girlfriend. Like I'm just like, yo, if we hang out like 3 to 4 times a week for like 4 months straight, you're my person. But then one day she's like, hey, what are we doing? And I'm like, what do you mean, what are we doing? Like, I think it's rather obvious what we're doing. Like, we're dating each other. And she's like, well, we're not official. And I'm like, well, then make it official. I don't care. Like, and so after that point, we were official. And we were both rather giddy about it because, like, she's like, oh my goodness, I have a serious boyfriend. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I have a serious girlfriend. And it felt really, really good for like 2 days until like she's like, hey, me and my friends are going to this like Halloween or like fall festival themed barn party. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, have a good time. I forgot what I was up to that evening, but I ended up just like passing out and then going about my business the next day. And that's when my current girlfriend calls me crying and is like, I have to tell you something, I have to tell you something. And I can hear like a few voices in the background, um, which is relevant. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And she was like, well, you know how, like, we just started dating and this is like new for both of us. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, when I was on the dance floor last night, like, I was dancing with a guy, and then, like, we made out. And then my friend said that if I didn't tell you, then that she was going to tell you, like, for me. And I was like, oh. I was like, okay, pause, rewind. So you were dancing last night and you made out with a guy. And she was like, yeah, I'm really, really sorry. And I was like, isn't that just like a natural thing that you do when you're out and dancing and stuff? And then she was like, sniffle, sniffle, yeah. And I was like, well, then I think it might just be good for us to not consider that a form of cheating because that sounds to me like going out. Like I'm not gonna lie, like if I went out last night, I could have maybe done the same thing by accident, and then that's when like the sniffles stopped, and she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like when you go out, you have some drinks, you do some stupid stuff. Like that's natural. Like let's not put this much pressure on ourselves where it's just like we can't even go out and have fun because there's another person in our lives. Like I'm just like, let's not live like that. And she was like, I think that's why I like you. And I was like, dang straight.